Hey guys, my name is Hannah and I would say, let's have some fun today. Okay, to be completely honest, it wasn't planned that I bought me this palette right here that I will show you today. I wasn't that keen on it, but then I saw it and it was there on the website and I was like, okay, let's try it, why not? Because I wanted also to compare this one, and it's the newest winter launch from Tom Ford, the 01 Black Diamond palette right here. It reminded me really much, I have to say, the color story, of two other palettes of mine that we will compare at the end of this video with this one. And that was the reason I didn't wanted it. But it's looking beautiful at the end of the day, and I thought, let's try it, let's compare it for the sake of filming a video, you know. And also because, of course, I wanted it, because at the end it's a beautiful looking palette. But I will see if it was worth it at the end. Look at this stunning, beautiful, neutral, but also very dark and vampy color story. I think it's looking fantastic. I will see on the eyes how it will translate, but I'm so far very impressed by this beautiful color story. At the end, it is a very neutral, we already have seen it, color story from Tom Ford. But yeah, I really want to try it today with you together, and like I said, also compare it to especially two other palettes I have in mind that I have from Tom Ford. And I already looked a little bit over those palettes and thought I could have a dupe right here, but we will see. First, let's do a look with this palette and see how it will translate on the eyes. Like always, my first look will be a little bit more darker and vampy with this one because it's a new release, and you know, I'm always wanting the most out of my palettes, so I will see what I can get with this one. And yeah, I'm very excited. We will go a little bit darker, a little bit vampier, and have some fun with this palette. So if you are interested, stay tuned and let's get right into the look. Like always, guys, I zoomed you a little bit more in, that you can see everything in a close-up. First, I'm priming my eyes just a little bit like always, so that we have a good base to put those colors on. I will start with the denser type of blending brush, and I think I will go first into this brown shade right here. It's looking very emollient and beautiful. The brush is picking up the color very nicely, and I will start to put it onto my lid area, starting with the outer corner and dragging it into the middle portion. Beautiful brown tone. It's again not too warm, also not too cool. It's right in the middle, and I think it will suit many skin colors because of that. But yeah, it's nothing we haven't seen before, you know, but it's beautiful. Can't deny that. Going very high up to my brow bone area with this shade because I want that it's seen, you know. It's with a slight sheen, but you don't, a little glitter particles, but not really. It's more a sheen that you will get with this shade right here. I love the name of this palette, by the way, guys. Black Diamond. I think it's a cool name for this palette. It's reminding me a little bit of Sailor Moon. If you know, you know. And yeah, I have to be honest, the name also drew me a little bit into this collection. And I hope I'm not too correct with my assumption and that the colors will look very close to some other palettes that I have. But I have a feeling it will be the case, so we will see. The shade itself is very beautiful. Very smooth. And you can manipulate the shade very nicely. So with the same brush I will go now into the lightest shade. It's a little bit like an baby pink, you could say. And this one I'm really putting all over. Ooh, that's interesting. Look how bright it is. Didn't expect that, but it's a really, 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 really bright shade. I like that it's in there because it's easier to blend everything out with such a shade, and it's so light. Ooh. It's a nice brow shade, I have to say, and also for the inner corners. If you want to keep it matte right there as well. You know, this would be a look in itself at the end. And I would be not mad at it. It's very, very nice. Now with the other side of the brush, with the more packing side, I will go into the really, really dark shade now. A very beautiful dark brown. It's a powdery formulation, but it has a little bit of emollients to it, like the newer, you know, again, formulation from Tom Ford. It's a little bit like that, and I will go just to the inner corner with this shade. Oh, sorry, I will go just to the outer portion of my lid area with this shade, of course. And just focus it really at my lid area and not dragging it too far upwards. Just want to give me a little bit more of an deepness down there. Also dragging it a little bit to the middle portion of my lid area as well. I'm leaving the whole front portion out. Really focusing it more at the outer corner and into the middle portion of my lid area. And you see I created something like a little wing right there. I did go a little bit more upwards with everything. And with the other side I will smooth it a little bit out again. That's not too harsh looking. I liked that so far, and now I will go into this very glittery shade right here. I have the feeling this is also, oh yeah, it's looking very like it. The newer formulation, it's a little bit more on the glittery side. How can I like that? Here you go. It's very emollient and glittery. And with this shade I will go all over the front portion of my lid area. I don't want to hype this color story too much up because in the end it's very basic. But it's beautiful. It's a beautiful type of basic eyeshadow palette if you want something like that. And in this one I can see just a little hinge of something green. I don't know if you can pick up on it, but a little hinge of something green I can see for sure in this glittery formulation. But it's very, very light, so it's not that dominant, but it's there for sure. No, with the name, I wish they had done something like Black Diamond, maybe a blackenish plummy type of shade with something glittery in there, or you know, something like that, something very special, because the name is giving me, it's giving me planets, the universe, something like that, something that's so far away and you can't reach, and Black Diamond is something in that direction for me. In this palette though, I can't see anything that's screaming Black Diamond to me, if you know what I mean. I'm going also a little bit to my brow bone area with the sparkly shade, just what's left on my finger basically, like that. And now I will go to my lower lash line with the same brush. I'm starting this time first with the darkest shade, going very lightly in there because it's very deep, I have to say. And this is something I appreciate because that means many skin tones can use and appreciate this palette. And with the other side, again, I will blend it a little bit out, just the edge, because I don't want that it's looking too harsh. The other side as well. Now I'm doing a little bit something different on my lower lash line than I did on my lid area. I'm going now with the same brush into the brown shade and putting it all over the rest of my lower lash line. So I won't leave anything out, won't leave anything bare. And over this color I will go at the end with the glittery shade, that we also can see a little bit how it's looking over a base. You know guys, I'm always trying to use every color in a quad when it comes to my first impression, but I always try to do it in a way that I would normally for my everyday life, even if it's a bolder type of look. I always want that it's a bolder type of look that I would actually wear, if you know what I mean. So I always try to do that. Just that you know, I never do a look that I wouldn't wear outside if it's not titled something like editorial look or something like that, you know. If I'm doing something especially for my channel, let's say especially a look that I want to try, it wouldn't be necessary a look that I would wear outside, but I want to try it on camera. But other than that, if I don't do something editorial, what I'm doing very rarely, I always do looks that I would wear outside, like this one right here. And now I will go into the glittery shade right here again with the same brush. I don't have the feeling with his quads you need many brushes. It's if you are using his little brushes that are coming with the palette, that's also very fine, but I really like to use my normal brushes. And this one I will put all over the front portion of my lower lash line. Over the brown shade basically. And now with the inner corner type of brush, I'm going into the very, very light matte shade right here. Really like that. And I will put it right into my inner corners. And I'm taking the same brush and the same light color again and just blending it ever so slightly onto my lower lash line under the shades I already laid down, just to smooth it a little bit better out, to give it a nicer blend, like that. And yeah guys, I think this is everything I want to do for today. Now I will quickly do my lashes and my lips, and then we will be right back with the finished result and my thoughts and also some comparisons. So let's do this. Okay guys, and here's the look all zoomed out. I decided to go for a classic red lip because in the end it's a winter palette. It's his Christmas launch, you could say. And for that I decided to go with a more pinkish, cooler type of red lip. And I used for that my Pat McGrath Matte Trans lipstick in the color Elson. And I think it's matching very nice with the look. Overall, it's a classic type of Christmas winter look, you could say. And for my lashes, I used my Pat McGrath Fetish Eye Mascara in Extreme Black, you know, to round the classic look up. And yeah guys, what can I say? It's in the end a beautiful palette. Can't deny that. It blended out very nicely. It's looking beautiful. I love my eye look. It's very vampy, very there, but you can go lighter. I love that the lightest shade is very, very light. It's almost like a white bony type of color. And I also love that the deepest shades are very beautiful and deep, and that you can also go a little bit lighter if you are deciding just to use the brown and maybe the glittery shade. And the glittery shade is giving you a little bit more oomph if you want that, but you can leave it also completely out of your look and keep it more classy. So in the end, it's a beautiful, nice curated palette. But I have to say, it's nothing that we haven't seen before. It's his, you know, it's a very safe color story. I wished with the name Black Diamond that we would have gotten something a little bit more black and deep and a little bit more of something special, you know. This would have been very nice and something I would have got a little bit more the feels for, you know. But I can't deny that it's beautiful in the end. It's a nice palette. I have to say, if you like the color story, if you don't have that much Tom Ford palettes in your collection already, it's a nice good color story, and it's a color story you can count on for those type of looks or something you want to throw on very quickly and don't want to think too much about. It's a nice one. But now let me compare it to especially two palettes I have to think immediately of. I will quickly pull them out and show them to you. The first palette is his last winter palette that he brought out. It's his Lumière d'Hiver eyeshadow palette. This brown right here, this bony type of shade right here, and this glittery shade down here. Let me compare them. I will also do swatches because there I really want to know for sure what is the dealio. And even looking at them, you could really easily switch them out and wouldn't notice it. I have the feeling. So this is his newest palette, the Black Diamond palette, and this is the Lumière d'Hiver eyeshadow palette. So don't tell me those are not the same palettes. I will quickly do a swatcheroo for you, so let me see what the deal is about that. I hope I'm not correct. I hope there will be maybe a little bit of difference to justify to have both, but I have to be honest, guys. Looking at them right away in the pan, they are very similar. Okay, guys, I'm happy to report that there is, in fact, a slight difference. I'm very happy about that. But it's a very slight difference. I think on the eyes you wouldn't notice it that much, but you know, you try to get the most out of it. You try to see the positive, you know, so I will try to do that right now. Here are, let me see, I need to go a little bit here. Here are the swatches. Up here is the new palette. And down here is the Lumière d'Hiver eyeshadow palette. So this is the Black Diamond and this is the Lumière d'Hiver eyeshadow palette. You can see there is a slight difference. In the brown shade there's a little bit of a plummy undertone to it. So, you know, and in the Lumière d'Hiver eyeshadow palette the brown is a little bit more on the warmer side or more neutral side, and in the Black Diamond it's a little bit more on the cooler side. And the shimmers are both a little bit more toppery-like, but the Black Diamond one, the shimmer is more glittery for sure. I hope you can see that. It's a little bit more on the glittery side and more pinkish. And in the Lumière d'Hiver eyeshadow palette it's a little bit more of an metallic hue to it, you know? So there's also a slight difference. And in the Black Diamond shade there are different type of sparkles in there, so there's a little bit more dimension, but both are in the end a little bit more of toppery shades. And also with the lightest matte shades there you really have a more pinkish bony type of shade, and in the Lumière d'Hiver palette it's a little bit more of an light skin tone type of shade. I can't describe it. It's a beigey type of shade. Maybe this is the word I'm searching for. A beigey type of skin tone shade, and in the Black Diamond palette it's a little bit more of a pinky shade. So I hope you can see it, guys. I'm trying my best here. Let me go a little bit closer. So again, up here it's the Black Diamond and down here is the Lumière d'Hiver eyeshadow palette. I think at the end you won't see the difference that much when it's on the eyes, but there is a slight difference for sure. At least we get a slight difference, you know? And now to one shade in particular from the summer palette, or was it summer? I think it was summer. I'm not sure, but I think it was the summer palette, the Emerald Dusk palette from Tom Ford. And here I had to think immediately of that brown shade. And what I noticed that the brown shade in the Emerald Dusk palette is, from the formulation, I think pretty much the same like in the Black Diamond palette. So I will open both again to you. Let's see. Here they are. They are different, but the brown shades looking are looking very similar. So this is the Black Diamond and this is the Emerald Dusk palette. And I have the feeling the browns are looking very, very similar. So this is everything I think I want to compare. Just the two browns. They are the most similar to me. The rest is very different in the end. So let me quickly swatch the shades as well. Okay guys, here you go. Here I have to say it would be very nitpicky of me to search now for something that's different in those shades. I can't really see anything that's different, but look for yourself and decide. I want to show it to you now. So again guys, here is the Black Diamond palette. This is the brown from the Black Diamond. And this is the brown from my Emerald Dusk palette. So here I really can't see much different. Maybe in the Emerald Dusk is a little bit more of a cooler undertone than in my Black Diamond palette. But it would be very, very nitpicky of me. I think on the eyes you wouldn't see any kind of difference. It's very, very close to one another. So yeah, here you go guys. I have the feeling if you really have the Emerald Dusk palette and the Lumière d'Hiver eyeshadow palette, I don't have the feeling that you necessarily need the Black Diamond palette. Like I said, I wish that they would have taken the Black Diamond theme and really put it into the palette, but they didn't, to be completely honest. The only shade that's maybe a little bit more on the fun and different side is this very glittery type of shade right here. It's more like a taupery shade, but with a slight pinkish undertone and some beautiful green pearls in it. But for this shade to pay that high of a price tag, I don't know if it would be worth it. You have to decide. If you don't have both of those palettes down here, then I think you would be really happy with this palette. But otherwise, you don't really need it in the end. But it's beautiful, I can't deny that. Okay guys, and this is all of the video. I hope you enjoyed it. Like I said, the look that I created today, I really like. Love the overall theme of the palette. I wish though they would have gone a little bit farther in terms of inspiration, you know. I wish that just one color maybe would have been switched out to something a little bit more fun, a little bit more exciting. I would be so much more into this palette than I'm right now from the fields. Because like I said, it's a very similar vibe to the one that I already have. And that's the only thing that's holding me a little bit back to be that wowed by it. But if I wouldn't have this palette, I would be really happy with this one, that being said though. Because the formulation and everything else is very beautiful. But it's also nothing that we haven't seen before, you know? Will I use it? Of course I will. I paid with my own money for this palette. I want to get my use out of it, for sure, and I will, because it's beautiful. But, you know, the problem is when I'm looking into my drawer and I'm thinking which palette I want to use, I think my Lumière d'Hiver palette would come more into my mind than this one, because I love the winter look that you will get with it, this really whitish type of look. And this one is a little bit more basic when it comes to it, you know. So this would be my only gripe with this palette right here, with the new palette, that I think it's too similar, but also not the exciting one in my whole Tom Ford collection. Not the most exciting one, if you know what I mean. But all in all, guys, I like it. I like it, but it's... the vibes should be the next time a little bit more different. I hope so. Because if it will not be, I won't purchase the winter palette again, I think. If it will be the same again next year, I don't think I will purchase me another brown toned eyeshadow palette from Tom Ford again. It should be something that's very speaking to my soul the next time, you know, for his winter collection. I'm I'm hoping for it, but we will see. And yeah guys, this is all of the video. I hope you enjoyed it. If so, I would be really happy if you give me a thumbs up, that I know that you like this kind of content. Also subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and click on the little bell to get notifications here and there when I'm posting something new. And with that being said, I hope we will see each other in my next video. There will be so much more to come in terms of new palettes. This is something I can promise to you, so stay tuned if you are curious about more luxury type of content. And until then guys, bye!